Good afternoon, everybody. I'm David Grasso.
And I'm Julia Sun. Happy Friday to all of you. Now, let's get straight into this week's headline because we're busy.
So some landmark rulings from the Supreme Court, starting with the one in favor of dreamers around the country. The Supreme Court has blocked the Trump administration's attempt to repeal Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA.
And we all remember that months after taking the office, President Donald Trump tried to repeal the Obama-era program, which grants temporary legal status to people brought to the United States as children.
And in fact, today, over 600,000 individuals fall under that category, and now the Supreme Court is keeping them protected from deportation.
Yep. And the other major ruling was that now you cannot legally fire any employees or workers because their sexual orientation. LGBT community is protected.
And for gender as well. Yeah. So those are two big monumental cases coming out of the Supreme Court. In fact, we're not done with the Supreme Court season, so we can expect more. Yeah. And next, over in the tech world, Google is going to spend over $175 million on racial equality initiatives with a focus on supporting Black-owned businesses.
Yeah, they will also help Black students in science, technology, engineering, and math, Black developers, and focus on hiring more Black employees to senior leadership.
Yeah, and Google's not alone. Apple's now launching a $100 million initiative, not a small sum, to promote racial equality with a focus on education, economic equality, and criminal justice reform.
Yep. Next, we know the extra $600 in weekly unemployment benefits, keyword extra.
Game changer.
Yeah, a lot of people are receiving right now through what's called the CARES Act, will run out at the end of July.
And that may change, folks, but right now, well over 1 million people are still filing for unemployment each week, which is much higher than was expected.
Yeah.
So, I think this is a big deal.
Of course.
When that runs out, the economic problems that we're going to have.
It's a cliff.
It's a cliff.
Right.
And that's July 31st, folks. Yeah. So what is it today? June 21st?
Yeah. June 19th.
Oh, it's June 19th. It's Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth.
Oh, my God.
Julia, I don't know what day it is.
That's fine, okay.
Because of COVID. I mean, every day runs into each other. But yes, happy Juneteenth, everyone. And in fact, our next guest is going to talk about Juneteenth. Her name is Kendra Barnes, a real estate investor and founder of Key Resource. How you doing, Kendra?
Good. How are you?
Are you celebrating Juneteenth today?
Yeah, I'm celebrating, and I'm also reflecting because, there's so much to celebrate when it comes to Juneteenth, but I'm also looking at how far we've come and how far we have to go.
So, let's get right into it. The typical net worth of a white family, it's 10 times greater than that of the average Black family. Why is that, and why is that the reality today that Black families still face?
There's so many reasons, but I'll just talk about one, and that's generational wealth passed down with real estate. So for so many years, Black people either weren't able to buy houses or were only able to buy houses in certain areas due to something called redlining. And because of that, we were left out of the power curve when it comes to generational wealth. We don't have these houses that we're passing down for generations and the power that comes along with that.
Yeah, everything's associated with home ownership as well, going to college, et cetera. Your home, you can tap it for equity if you're short on money, et cetera, et cetera. Moving is expensive. Rents tend to go up. When you own your home, the costs are more fixed. So it's a whole different ball of wax.
Well, Kendra, a lot of young people, a lot of our young viewers don't think they'll ever be able to own a home in today's climate. What do you say to them?
Well, first, I want to say to you, you are worthy of wealth. And you can do this. Like, you have everything you need. You can start right now, today, with what you have. There are so many down payment assistance programs and grants for first-time home buyers where these programs literally eliminate or lower your down payment. And so I think these young people are looking at that down payment as a huge hurdle, but you can definitely get over it. There are so many resources out there. So I want you to be encouraged and be empowered.
What do you say to these young people who, instead of home ownership, they would rather have freedom for the time being?
Well, I say with ownership comes freedom, comes so many more options, right? I think people think of ownership as this thing that'll tie you down, but just because you own a house doesn't mean you can't move around, doesn't mean you can't be free and travel. If you buy a house and you want to travel or you want to move, you can rent it out, right? You can sell it. And And just think of ownership as options. You know, there's a tagline for Red Bull gives you wings. Well, ownership gives you options. And I just want you to keep that in mind.
So that was not sponsored, but I do like the Red Bull gives you wings.
Sorry.
So, Kendra, let's move on to what we call our Bold TV quick questions, right? And we create these type of segments for social media. So keep your answers short. So for millennials and for Gen Z, is there an easy way to get into real estate investing?
No, there's no easy way. If you're looking for something easy, real estate investing is not for you, but it's definitely worth it. So I won't say there's an easy way to get into it at all, but you can definitely do it. It's totally doable.
So do you believe that real estate is the key to building wealth, especially intergenerational wealth that you can pass on to your descendants?
100%, yes.
And can you tell me why?
Because like I said, with ownership, you know, it gives you options, right? And there's just so much power in being able to pass down an asset to your loved ones.
So, you know, communities of color, rural communities, et cetera, you know, have less wealth than certain racial groups and people in different areas. Do you think here in the United States we will ever be able to bridge the wealth gap between different communities?
Definitely. I know we can.
And how do we make that a reality?
I'm making a reality every day by sharing my story and empowering people that you can be young and Black and own multiple properties. And so I'm living proof, and I'm empowering people to do that. And I encourage everyone else to share their story as well.
Tell me a little bit about your story, Kendra. How'd you go down this road?
I got into it really randomly. I played a board game called Cash Flow one day, and I was like, oh my goodness, it really gave me this aha moment. I need to be making my money make money. Passive income is the key to wealth. You have to be able to make money in your sleep, basically. Stop exchanging time for money. And once I realized that, I jumped into real estate investing, and I've been addicted to it ever since.
Tell us a little bit about the properties you own.
So we own properties in Washington, D.C. and Maryland. We own some multi-units, condo, and single-family homes. And we live in Texas, so we're like managing them from afar. But we've been in real estate investing for about 6 years now.
Wow. Julia, it's a game changer when you own that much real estate.
Yeah. Thank you, Kendra, for coming on today.
We really appreciate it, and happy Juneteenth to you and your family.
Thanks. Have a good one.
You lived in Texas for a little bit.
I did live in Texas. Yeah. Texas is a great place. You know, low taxes, a lot of cowboy culture. Great food, by the way. Great food. The best barbecue. And I'm a meatitarian. I know for vegetarians, they kind of have to suffer through Texas. But Texas is the type of place that I really enjoyed my time in Texas, honestly. I felt like in some ways it was a lot like studying abroad.
Because it's a different culture.
It's a totally different culture. And I did grow up in the South, but I grew up in Florida.
A different part of the South.
Yeah, so it's totally not, different. You know, super, you know, Texan. And Texas is not the South. Texas is Texas.
It's you know, it's like you carve out a little thing. It's not little, but you carve out a state and then it's by itself.
Yeah.
It feels different. It feels different the moment you step on, I step off the plane.
And I know this might get me in trouble, but the only state I've been to that sort of reminds me of Texas is Oklahoma.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they do not like to be compared to each other.
They don't. Like,
and by the way, Oklahoma, surprisingly, even as someone who spent most of my life, you know, New York, Florida, California, nice place. Oklahoma City is a really nice city.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to my friends, like now since you can't really travel internationally, so you drive around domestically, you know, you can go to one of those states that you don't normally visit. I think it's a great place to visit nowadays.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, are we good with our next guest? Oh, we still don't have
what?
So, one of the things we've learned with COVID is that all our guests have to be through Skype.
Yeah, or Zoom, because, I mean, for the safety of everybody, we rather not have them in the studio to keep our staff safe.
Yeah, and one of the things that's really interesting about having remote guests is that anything will go wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, normally if you...
I mean, turn on network TV right now.
You mean like taping from home TV? Taping from home TV.
It's pretty
No, I gotta give it to like some of the networks. Like NBC finally figured out how to make their anchors look presentable at home.
Yeah, we're back in the studio. Yeah. I wasn't looking very presentable at home.
Yeah, it was.
You looked great, Julia.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He's just being nice. I hated my lights. I hate it. I had 3.
You have the best hair, and then you were complaining about your hair. Do you know how much harder this is to manage?
Oh my God. Do you know how hard it is to do this?
You have like that horse hair. Like you can make twine with that stuff.
God,
you're
too sweet.
You're like the dream Rapunzel hair.
No, it was difficult. It was difficult, just to get everything together. I'm like, I have my light here, I have another light here, I have another light here. Normally, in the studio, I have about 40 lights.
40?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, looking around here, folks, you would never know how many lights are aimed
there were
at
like
us.
maybe 20 in the studio, but in a normal studio, maybe 40-ish.
Really?
Yeah, and then you can tweak all of them, so every angle is covered. You look good no matter what. It's never me, guys. It's never me. I always say it's always my makeup artists, my producers, my lighting technicians, my technical directors. It's not me. We're just sitting here.
Okay, so we are in business here. Our next guest is talking to us all the way from down under in Australia. He's the managing director of Space Industries. Let's welcome Joshua Letcher. How you doing?
Hey, Joshua.
I'm good. How are you doing?
Hey, love Australia. I wish I'm there right now, but
well, we're not allowed to travel right now.
Let's talk about space travel, which is even cooler. What would you say is the ultimate goal for space traveling these days?
Well, for us in particular, Space Industries, so we're looking at creating utilities on the moon, which will allow people to travel more freely there, even tourists to go to the moon and have a bit of a visit. So that's sort of what we're doing. And our focus there is producing the Lunar Resource Extraction Vehicle, which will actually allow us to produce water, and that water can be turned into electricity and all the other utilities that we need to sustain life on the moon.
So, Joshua, this is something realistically that I can look forward to in my life, being a tourist on the moon?
Yeah.
100%. I think we'd be able to do it in the next 10 years.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how do you need to, how do I prepare myself to go? I don't handle zero-G very well.
Yeah, I don't. Roller coasters are tough on me. I don't know how I would do in a moon launch.
I think the first step, you could actually go on Richard Branson's flights, because he's actually doing some flights coming up soon. So that could be a pretty good early stage. And then I think the next rides will probably be with SpaceX, I'd say. I'm looking forward to going too.
So are there any applications for this type of, moon utilities for here on Earth? Is there anything we can learn by, developing the moon right here at home?
Yeah, so one of the other things that we'll actually be producing other than water on the moon is helium-3. So on Earth, there isn't helium-3 naturally in abundance, so it's economical to produce. So what they do is they produce it from the waste product of making nuclear weapons. That forms tritium, and the tritium decays over its half-life and produces helium-3. And some of the applications there for helium-3, which you may not be aware of, is actually MRI scanners. So the cooling of MRI scanning the magnets allows for the machine to function. And then another application for the helium-3 is you can breathe it into your lungs, and it goes into all the little cracks into your lungs and allows the MRI scanner to get super high-quality imaging of your lungs. Wow. So it's medical imaging. Another one is national security. So after 9/11, Department of Homeland Security depleted all of the helium-3 reserves by producing neutron detectors, and they were placed around the borders to detect any radiation coming in and out. Another one, going back to the supercooling, is data centers. Everyone loves the internet. We're doing all this online. Sure. We need data centers for that. And one of the biggest costs for data centers is 40 to 60% is cooling. So using helium-3 combined with helium-4, we can use what's called a helium-3 refrigerator and cool to temperatures as low as 0.2 kelvins, which is almost absolute zero. And then the future is energy. So nuclear fusion energy, we can have fully green, renewable energy in the future.
I do want to go back to the actual traveling part. I do have one question that I'm very curious to know. When I go to the moon, how often can I go, and how long do I have to stay?
Currently, or based on the Apollo missions, not very long, but with the new technology that we've developed over the last 50 years, being mostly NASA and ESA, we're able to probably stay, months at a time. And with the Artemis missions coming up, which is super exciting, we should be able to have people there constantly from 2024 onwards, which is going to be super exciting. Yeah.
Well, Joshua, we do something called the Bold TV Rapid Round. So we're going to ask you some questions and keep your answers short. So how long will it be until I'm able to travel to the moon?
Ooh, maybe within the next 10 years.
Okay, and will people be able to live on the moon?
Yes, I think so, but you would probably prefer to live on Mars.
And why is that?
Well, it's probably a bit more exciting, less dust.
So are you guys going to be sending anyone into space soon, or are they hitching a ride on Richard Branson's brand or Elon Musk's brand?
Yeah, I think as we develop and get more vehicles on the moon and expand the utilities, then I think we would probably like to have our own people that actually go there and service that economy as well.
And tell me a little bit about what your company is planning for the moon.
Yeah, so the main thing is our resource extraction vehicle. So that's actually going to utilize the sun's energy, and it'll heat up the regolith, the moon dust, and extract all the gases out of that. And that's a good image of it there. And that's our main thing that we're doing on the moon. And then from that, we'll also create a few other products. So fuel transfer ports for transferring liquids, fuels, propellants, and then also some inflatable water storage, as well as hopefully we can branch into some other things like habitats and that as well.
Yeah, Joshua, I don't think people understand what's at stake when you're up there, that resources and just keep staying alive is very challenging, isn't it?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest challenge, and the most important thing is staying alive. Yeah.
Well, all the best to you over in Australia. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
I haven't been to Australia.
Oh, why?
I don't know. It's just
You've never been to Australia?
strikes me as a stable country that I'll be able to.
Like the best beach.
Really?
One of Caribbean.
I like the Caribbean. Yeah.
Caribbean.
I'm not on the beach hunt. I like the Caribbean. They have the best beaches.
No.
Yeah.
Maldives.
Yeah, the Indian Ocean. I was about to say that might be the only other place. But yeah, traveling to the moon, I imagine that's going to be extremely pricey when it first comes out.
Of course.
But the price will
over
come down.
time, once you run it a few times, and when I say a few, maybe like a few hundred
times. Hopefully everyone makes it back safely.
You get the hang of it. I don't know. I don't know what kind of environment, because not all of us have gone through astronaut training. Right, we're just civilians, and we are not going to be, getting into one of those rotators and throw up. Like, I would rather not do that. I would think.
I never went to space camp, and I had the opportunity. So anyway, back here on Earth, there is a revolutionary technology that we're going to talk about, and it's the future of travel. And here we have the CEO of Hyperloop TT. His name is Andres de Leon. How you doing, Andres?
Hi, how are you?
Hey, he was just telling me how to say your name, Andreas. How is that?
That's great.
I can't wait to travel again. How will Hyperloop make my travel better?
Well, I think that, what we are trying to create is a mode of transportation that, first of all, is sustainable. So I think that it's important to understand, that sustainability is a must in today's world. We generate more energy and alternative energy that we consume. We are also trying to create a mode of transportation that is seamless. You have a seamless experience. We are trying to improve drastically, the passenger experience. We want to create something, that you can go from point A to point B in the most seamless experience.
Yeah, tell us about how fast it is, Andres, because that's what strikes me about the Hyperloop. So explain a little bit about what it is, the technology.
From where is point A, where is point B, how many hours do I save?
Okay, so basically, you could arrive to 1,220 kilometers per hour, so around 800 miles per hour, okay? And point A to point B, you could be putting together, so, sorry, I'm having a...
Yeah, no, it's
That's
fine.
all right, that's all right.
Oh, we
lost him. Oh, no, what happened? I drove like 100 whatever miles in Germany.
I think he said 1,000 miles.
Oh, okay.
I think this Hyperloop is supposed to be...
Yeah, it's going to be... whatever he... Yeah.
The Hyperloop is supposed to be 30 minutes between Miami and New York.
Yeah.
I think it's that fast.
Otherwise, why do it? Otherwise, why do it? Yeah, here you are.
We'll start this again.
Yeah, let's do this again. Where's point A? Where's point B? How fast can I get from point A to point B?
Well, so basically you can have an average speed of 800 kilometers per hour. So if you are between Madrid and Barcelona, you could do that in 30 minutes to put a sample from Europe. Or if you go from, if I don't remember badly, from Cleveland to Chicago, I think you could do like 45 minutes, something like that. Okay.
Wow, so it's really fast. Okay,
yeah,
so
really
it's faster than airplanes then.
Yeah, well, it's basically the same average that airplanes, the same speed that airplanes, but you have an advantage that you go from city center to city center.
Yeah, I don't have to go to the airport, which always takes so long. Yeah.
So theoretically, between Miami and New York, instead of a 2.5-hour flight, it's a 2.5-hour train ride, city center to city center.
Absolutely. So we all know, that going to the airport is not the most exciting experience in your life. You have to go outside the city. You have to have the traffic jam. There is a lot of things that affect to that experience. So we are trying to put the things much more simple for the people and being able to go from city center to city center in a mode of transportation that at the end you have the same speed that the airplane, but the most important thing, much more sustainable and much more safer, because, you are on Earth, okay?
So explain the technology, right? It's a tube, right? And it changes the dynamics of how the train works, right?
Yeah. Basically, what we do is we have a tube, okay? And we made the vacuum in that tube, it's a low pressure environment. It's not a fully vacuum. So basically, it's like if you'd be in a plane going in the altitude. Here you see the pumps, of the vacuum system. So we arrive to something between 10 to 100 Pascal environment. And because on that, you have no friction. Because you have no friction, 90% of the friction of the energy consumption in a train is because on the aerodynamics. Basically, what happens is that you require a very low energy to move. On top of this tube, we put solar panels. We have alternative energy. And what we, at the end, get is a system that basically generates between 5 to 15% more energy that consumes.
Wow. So it's actually positive energy. So when can we expect this?
Okay, well, we are working on the commercial prototype. We have right now already 320 meters developed in Toulouse, France, where it's our kind of test bench for certification. And then we are working in a project in Abu Dhabi that we expect to be breaking ground next year. It's a project that will take around 2 years, 2.5 years. So basically, Hyperloop is coming in years and not in decades. Okay. We are also working on the regulation. We are working with the Department of Transportation in the United States. We are working with the DG Move in the European Commission to allow that technology goes fast, but also regulation needs to go fast, to arrive to the point of people. And we have been working with that. We developed a complete regulatory framework with TÜV, one of the most important independent safety assessors in the world. We have been working with Munich Re, a big reinsurance company, to secure that Hyperloop technology of Hyperloop TT is insurable. So, things are happening. We will see it in some years from now.
Okay, so we're going to do a rapid round of questions, and we make this for social media, so keep your answers short. So explain to me, what is the Hyperloop in a few words?
Hyperloop is the safest and more sustainable and more efficient mode of transportation.
And how does it work?
Works, with a capsule inside a tube. The tube has the low pressure environment, so you have no friction, so you can work in a very energy efficient way.
And will I be ever able to commute from Miami to New York easily on a Hyperloop in the next decade?
Yes, definitely. We hope, yes. I think that there is a big opportunity now in this post-pandemic world. Everybody wants to invest in infrastructure, and this is a sustainable and efficient infrastructure to invest in.
Is this company associated with Elon Musk in any way?
Well, Elon Musk had the idea at the beginning. He said that he had no time to develop it. So they encourage everybody, other companies to develop it. So we took the idea. It's not a new idea. It has been for a while. The first patent was coming from 1908,
Wow.
About the Hyperloop or something similar to the Hyperloop. and we have developed the technology, and no, we have not a specific relation to Elon, other than he was the idea generator. Okay.
And last question, how much will a ticket cost? Do we have any idea?
Yes, in the analysis, in the feasibility study that we did in Great Lakes between Chicago, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, basically the cost was like 75% of the actual cost of an Amtrak train. So it's less costly than an actual high-speed train.
Well, the government never likes competition, so good luck with that. So anyway, Andres de Leon, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much to all of you, and thanks for having us here. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You can move back to Miami.
I know. I could just commute on the Hyperloop.
Yeah, you can commute once a week or something. That sounds good.
Yeah. So, stuff is changing in transportation, but it needs to change. I mean, airplanes have been along for so long.
I really just don't enjoy going to the airport, wait there, never know when to get there, early, late. There were times I'm like, oh, wait for me, I'm the last one going to the gate. There were times like, I don't want to wait for 2 more hours. So it would be so much easier if you could go from city center to city center.
Yeah, and speaking of which, a lot of people aren't flying, which is devastating the economy. Let's talk about that for a second. A lot of people are really nervous that the economy is not going to be able to sustain itself.
Yes, because people are not traveling. And I don't know, off the top of my head, I don't remember how much the travel industry or travel, cruise, leisure, business travel.
I think it's down more than 80%.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
That sounds right. But I don't know how much of a pie they are collectively as a part
percentage
of
the economy.
I don't have that on top of my head.
I'm from, my parents live in Orlando, Florida. If you live in Las Vegas or Orlando, it's a massive percentage of
That's your, pretty much close.
It's like finance or media here in New York.
Imagine,
So, but, so.
Do you see it turning around for Florida?
I hope so.
I do know people who did go there just for a weekend because, come on, the beaches, some resorts, they're empty or like.
Well, I'd like to go back, but right now they're threatening to quarantine.
Yeah, to quarantine.
Even though I'm a Florida resident, but I'm in New York, so I can't go back right now. So anyway, the economy's a mess, so we're concerned about money.
Yeah, our next guest, hey there, is the co-founder of 100 Million Academy, Cody Sperber. Hello.
Hello. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Look, a lot of people right now that they're struggling. We have young viewers who are broke or on the borderline of, just really not having a good time. How do they build wealth in this environment, and how do they ever relate to, in your words, millionaires?
Yeah, well, I mean, you nailed it. There's a lot of uncertainty going on out there, and unfortunately, it's the hand that we're all dealt. And so we have to, move forward powerfully and use the tools that we have at our disposal, which there's a lot of online opportunities to create side hustle income with this powerful technology that we have.
Wait, you mean this? It's never far away from us, right?
It's always right there, right? And so, at the 100 Million Academy, we kind of looked around the environment and said, look, right now people are looking for life preservers. In May, there was, 20.5 million people unemployed.
Yeah.
It's the numbers are staggering, and there's a solution right in the palm of our hands. And so we teach people how to build and scale their businesses, a lot of people focusing on online businesses. And what we've done is we've assembled over 22 nine-figure income earners, people playing the game at a very high level that are experts at what they do, industry titans. And we've taken the best at what they do in their businesses, and we simplified it down into simple to follow steps. So anything from, growing your online brand to doing affiliate marketing or growing, doing social media marketing, sales, whatever it is, it's inside the academy. And so, you nailed it. There's definitely a need right now, and we kind of looked around the state of online education for entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs, and we felt like it was lacking. And so
And we've had a lot of these people on our show before. We've had Jordan Belfort and Jim Quick. And
Cody, I hear what you're saying. The problem is with a lot of our young viewers, they don't really relate to these people that you just show. Like, I talk to Marcus a lot in my former lives, you know, on the exchanges, sure. But if I'm a 22-year-old, I just had my college graduation, I got my job offer rescinded, I have no idea what's going on, I have no backup plan, what's the first thing you want me to do, I should do?
Look, we feel like success leaves clues. And yeah, maybe you don't relate directly to Marcus Lemonis, the guy that's on TV saving businesses and already has deep pockets. But the reality is there is a formula for success. And there's a lot of people that have cracked the code and have the roadmap and they're willing to hand it over. And so online, this is a new economy. Everybody's moving online and you can create really great streams of income. We can't rely on a single stream of income anymore. You have to create multiple streams of income if you want to have certainty in your life. And for me personally, when I first became an entrepreneur, it was like drinking from a fire hose. Every place I went, I didn't know what I was doing. It was constantly overwhelming. And I needed somebody to take that complicated concept and simplify it down into simple to follow steps. And
yeah, I think that's an excellent response to a difficult question. So, you know, earlier we spoke about the wealth gap, which is becoming, you know, a bigger issue in this country that we're all focusing on. You know, certain groups do better than others. Do you really feel like starting your own business is the key to really closing the ever-growing wealth gap in this country?
Absolutely. Think about the butterfly effect that happens when you start a business, right? You're able to, all these people are unemployed. This is the best time in the world, by the way, to start a company right now, because look at the talent of unemployed people that are looking for a job. And if you actually have the confidence to go out there and start a business right now, you have the ability to empower a lot of people. And our goal here at the 100 Million Academy is to empower 10,000 entrepreneurs to start businesses before the end of the year. That could, parlay into hundreds of thousands of jobs being created.
Yeah.
Cool. So we do something called the rapid round of questions, and we create some, some cool social media hits. So, I bet the number one question you get at your organization, are there any shortcuts to getting rich?
I don't know if shortcut is the right thing, because it really is like the mindset of having a marathon. As an entrepreneur, it's a lifestyle. It is not like a get rich quick type of thing. But there is a formula, and consistency is a large part of it. Focusing on the right things at the right time in the evolution of your business is part of it, and having accountability is part of it. So even though there's not like a direct shortcut, there is a way to go further faster.
So can you give us a few tips there, like some advice for any budding entrepreneurs out there watching?
Yeah, I mean, look at what's going on right now. There's so much negativity in the world constantly, but social media actually, it can be a very positive thing if you're following the right influencers and you're using it as a creator instead of a consumer. And right now, young people have the ability to become a creator and get consistent with putting out their messaging out there and build a personal brand. It's more important now than ever. And my personal brand over the years has grown, which has allowed me to empower all the companies that I own, from marketing to building relationships to creating partnerships to raising money. It all kind of stems back from the idea of I have a very strong personal brand online. It's consistent over a long period of time, and people now trust me to do business with me. And you can follow that same model. If I can do it, you can do it.
So Cody, the thing about online business that's really amazing but really daunting at the same time is that immediately you are a global business the day you turn on the on button. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, think about the reach with social media nowadays. Back in the day, if you wanted to reach somebody or, put your marketing message out on a mass scale, you had to pay for very expensive TV or radio advertising. Now you can literally go live, boom. Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people are being reached by your marketing message, and it's global. So, I mean, if you're not building your personal brand right now, you're massively missing out.
Well, that's some excellent advice. Cody, thanks for joining us today. All the best.
Thanks for being here.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, good luck to you.
And that's the end of our show.
Yeah, can you believe it?
Yeah, that was really fast. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. We're in all those places. Amazon Fire TV, Apple News. You go there,
you go there, you find us. We'll see you back here next Friday.